Welcome to the channel. Thank you everyone for tuning in. On today's video, I'm going to be reviewing a brand new Christopher Ward. This is the newest release, the C65 Dune series. Now, I was meant to receive this watch a very long time ago. Christopher Ward did have a few issues releasing the prototype models, so I did have to wait quite a while in order for me to get my hands on this brand new C65 Dune from Christopher Ward. Now, this watch isn't something totally new. The case is actually from the C65 Cranwell series or the Sandhurst series, and it's the 38mm field/sports watch case. And it's a beautiful case. It has one of the best dimensions I have ever seen and worn on wrist. The dial you may recognize from the C65 Aquitaine series, which I also had the good fortune of reviewing. So what they've effectively done here is they've combined the dial from a dive watch into a very sporty field watch. Now, they call this a luxury field watch. However, I think it sits more along the sports watch category, and I think Christopher Ward do make some really appealing sports watches. Now, usually when you hear a field watch, you're expecting to see a bit of numerals on the dials, maybe some Arabics, which is why I think this crosses more over into the sports watch category, because you just got hour markers from the dive watch series. Now, let me take you through the specifications, dimensions, the color options available, and of course the pricing before I continue with this watch. Christopher Ward offered this watch in a range of colors. You've got a matte cream dial, then you've also got 3 different sunburst colors. You've got a black sunburst, you've got a green sunburst, which is what I have in hand, and you've also got a nice deep blue sunburst. Now, the sunburst on these 3 dial options is actually not overpowering. It is quite subtle. You do get a matte sheen off the dial, but again with a very subtle sun ray or sunburst effect. Now, Christopher Ward also offer a full bronze Cosc version in this. Now, with all those color options, you've also got your bracelet and non-bracelet options. So the prices do range anywhere from £750 for, let's just say, your basic automatic version on a nylon or rubber strap. If you move up to the bracelet, you're looking at around £950, and with your bronze case with the Cosc movement, you're looking at around £1,290, which in terms of pricing, if you actually go and look around what's out there equivalent to this Christopher Ward, with a Swiss made watch running the Sellita SW200, and with the specifications that are on offer from Christopher Ward, you'll find they are very, very competitively priced. They actually give you incredible value for money, and the equivalent watches can go up to £1,500 to £1,800, some of them touching just at £2,000 mark. I think Christopher Ward offer awesome value for money, not to mention that 60/60 guarantee, which is 60 days or your money back, and then you get 60-month warranty. So they do offer a lot. They give you premium materials, premium movement. The specifications on this are full stainless steel. You have their famous light catcher case on this. You've also got a very nice bracelet. The clasp does have an on-the-fly adjustment, which we'll look at slightly later on. You've got a box style sapphire crystal with AR coating. You've also got a 150-meter water resistance with a screw-down crown and a screw-down case back. The movement powering this watch is the Sellita SW200. It does have a 4 Hz frequency, meaning it is high beat, beating at 28,800 vibrations per hour, and the watch gives you a 38-hour power reserve. And of course, with that bronze version, you have the opportunity to get a actual Cosc certified SW200. So when we nail down those specifications and compare what the rest of the market has to offer, you clearly see how competitive Christopher Ward are. So why did this watch take so long to get to me? Christopher Ward made one dramatic change to the dial. And to me, I knew it might not seem that dramatic, but on their website, you'll actually have the CEO, the brand owner, actually going through why this particular change was so difficult to create. The previous twin flag logos were actually printed on the dial. Now, they opted to go for a fully brushed applied logo. And this initially proved quite difficult for them, because if you have a look at this logo, the logo isn't actually connected. It's not a single logo. You can see, because it's a twin flag, you actually have to have one flag on one side and then the silhouette on the other side. So there's nothing really joining the logo together. Even if you look at like Seiko logos, for example, they do have a line which connects the whole logo, allowing you to have 2 pins which secure onto the dial. So they had quite a bit of trouble with getting this applied logo just on these dials, which is why there was quite a huge delay on the prototype models coming out. Usually Christopher Ward offer me a watch about a week before the launch, But you know, while I did opt to review this model, it took them much longer to get this out, and the representative did say it's purely down to the QC issues. So bear in mind, this is actually a prototype model, so it's not the final edition that you expect. The final edition will be a lot cleaner, a lot nicer looking, because with this prototype model, I did notice a couple of specs, etc., on the handset, which we'll cover when we look at some of the close-ups of the dial. But going on, you know, to the case, it's that infamous light catcher case, one of the best cases that have been produced by any watchmaker, and of course it's Christopher Ward's proprietary case, because that case is such high quality, feels smooth as silk in hand. You've got a great level of finishing on this, very fine brushing around the bezel, around that case, and I love those highly polished divisions along those sides of the case. So it does give a lot of detail to what is effectively a very simple watch, and which is what I really like to see on watch cases. Now that box sapphire crystal also gives it a different effect. I do like these low box sapphire crystals. I think it does wonders for the watch. It gives you the impression of those old school acrylic crystals, but with the hard wearing capability, obviously, of a sapphire crystal. Now in terms of the dials, you've got your usual attention to detail offered by Christopher Ward. The sunburst patterns, which is what I can see here, they are a very subtle sun ray, allowing you to really see that color on the dial. The only issue I'd have is probably with that cream dial, because you've got this old radium style loom applied, and of course on the handset, everything blends in a bit too much, I feel, on that cream dial version, and it does really impact that legibility. However, all the other colors are absolutely fine. You'll also notice that Christopher Ward offered this with color matched date wheels, which is a nice touch. Again, attention to detail. And I really like the position of the date window. I do prefer my date windows to be just above the 6. It helps really preserve that symmetry on the dial. You have a little splash of red on the automatic text, and just white just beneath that, giving you the water resistance rating, and of course Swiss made on either side of that miniature 6 o'clock marker. The hour markers themselves, beautifully finished, nice polished frame around the outside. And moving on to the handset, it's a very nice handset. We've seen that on so many different Christopher Ward watches. You've got that trident on the end of that seconds hand, and the seconds hand comes with a pip. Moving on to the hour and minute hand, slightly beveled, fully polished. The only thing which I did notice which was missing is that micro detailing on the hour hand. I've seen some of these hour hands where they do have a chamfered polished edge, however the tip of the arrow usually is brushed. The way that brushing reflects that light against those beveled and polished edges does look quite nice. However, they haven't done it on this. Now I don't know if that's because it's a prototype, or they've chosen not to, but I wish they had stuck to that level of micro detailing on the handset. It does wonders for the watch. But they are nicely finished, crisp, and proportionately they are spot on. And the loom on this dial is no different to any other Christopher Ward. Ample application. It's got Swiss Super Luminova, old radium style, BGW9, ample layering. You know, it's going to be quite bright. It's going to last very long as well. So nothing more to say on that, but just really good quality of loom. Now, I mentioned at the start of the video that this is basically the same case as the C65 military series, and I managed to review that Cranwell, and in that video I pointed to the best feature about this particular watch was how good the dimensions were and how well that watch wears on wrist. It was by far one of the most comfortable watches I've ever worn. So dimensionally, this is where this watch is going to definitely stand out. It may be subjective to wrist size, and for reference, my wrist size is 6.5 inches. While I might find it extremely comfortable, it may not be the case for everybody else out there. But in my comparison with the Sealander 36mm versus 39mm, it was like a Goldilocks story. I found the 36mm just a touch too small, and the 39mm could have been just a touch smaller, and which is why I requested a 38mm, and then Christopher Ward came out with this Dune series. Now the dimensions on these are as follows: 38mm case diameter, 12mm thickness, slightly thicker than you'd expect due to that box style sapphire crystal, and a lug to lug of 43.5. That's extremely compact. However, with those male end links on that bracelet, it does bring it up to 48mm, which is still a good fit. The lug width is 20mm, the overall weight is 145 grams unsized, and in terms of comfort on wrist, this is what makes this watch definitely stand out. And I can confirm that this is exactly the same for this C65 Dune. Wearing this watch is a total dream. Fits so comfortably, and of course with the on-the-fly adjustment, it allows you to make very small micro adjustments, giving you the perfect fit each and every time. And as through the day, you guys know your wrist does kind of expand or shrink depending on the weather, temperature, and whatever you're getting up to. So you do need that bit of flexibility on the fly. This is definitely one of the best fitting 38mm watches that I have ever worn, ever tried on, and it just sticks to the wrist so well. I did have a slight issue with the length of the clasp. I felt, as you can see, that that clasp is taking up almost 2/3 of my wrist. But what I did find though, with a smaller wrist, that clasp helps keep the watch in the center as well, prevents it moving up and down. And the visuals are nice as well. They're somewhat different, which is why I don't think it's a field watch totally, because with a field watch, you do kind of expect some numerals, some Arabics. What was on wrist was my Alpinist 39mm, but that is a field watch, so you can see the polished numerals there. But yeah, so I think it's more for sporty watch, and I really like the sports watch range. What I would want to see from Christopher Ward is a female end link, definitely on their bracelets. It's the next logical step. But what I do like about Christopher Ward is that every watch they are making, within the same price category, they are slowly improving something as they go along. Christopher Ward have been out for quite a while, and I wasn't a fan of Christopher Ward at all on the earlier models, especially where they had the whole name across the dial. But steadily, that C63 Sealander, the Aquitaine was nice, and that military series I looked at, and also this one, they are starting to appeal to me a lot more. The main feature is the light catcher case, followed by the dimensions these guys use, and how well the watch fits, and of course they've got all the premium specifications that you actually need. Ideally, and I will say it, you want to get that Sealander setup in this 38mm case, and then that'll be the perfect sports watch in my opinion. So that's it from me today, guys. I've got nothing else to say. I'm just quite happy to receive this watch from Christopher Ward. As always, let me know your thoughts in the comment section, guys. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.